Hello and welcome to XO Meaux. As you can see from today's title, I will be talking about the court cards and how they could be telling you to take care of yourself in reference to the tarot, right? This is the beginning of a series. I already kind of have the series up on TikTok, Sans Tarot. So if you're interested in that, be sure to go follow me over at XO Meaux on TikTok. However, today, and this is going to be a long series, there are plenty of ways that the tarot could tell you to engage in self care, right? So I might break it up into two parts or three parts. It's definitely going to be at least two, but I figured that I would start with the court cards because depending on which court card you identify with, what may be the best path for you. Yeah, depending on your zodiac sign or just what you feels like really resonates with you as a form of self-care, these court cards are going to be a really good indicator of which way to go, right? So I'm going to start off with the King and the Queen of Cups. Yes, these are the emotional, cups rule our emotions. These are intuitive court cards. Yeah, but I'm gonna start off with the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups. So sometimes, her self care can be very connected to the home, right? There's some of that Cancer energy. Cancer rules the fourth house, the house of the home, right? So this could be starting creative projects around the house. This could be learning a new recipe, or honestly just spending some time at home, right? Also very nurturing and caring. Sometimes when I see with the Queen of Cups, she's a natural mother. She's a natural nurturer and she's very in tune with her emotions. And sometimes when we're not paying attention to our intuition, you know what I mean, our self-care can get out of whack. Yes? So the Queen of Cups, again, she's very in tune with her emotions, the unseen realms, her intuition, which is another form of self-care. Something else that comes up with the cup cards is being creative, being a creative person, right? Taking your emotions that may be overwhelming you and transmuting them into a specific art form or art project, right? This could be makeup, this could be beauty, this could be painting, this could be singing, this could be dancing. You fill in the blank. Yeah, as more Scorpio energy, where we're taking those emotions and those feelings and those things we're experiencing and transmuting them into something else, right? Also, Pisces energy. I think that these cards are also really good writers. Yes, because they're really good. Piscean energy is really great at creating a fantasy, creating a whole world. In many ways, Piscean energy is very visionary, right? Very imaginative and daydreaming, right? A lot of this applies to the King of Cups as well when we're talking about the Cancer, Scorpio, and Piscean energy. But something else I do think that you need to be aware of with both of these cards is escapism. Yeah? That Piscean energy can be very tricky when we binge watch television shows, right? When we see these two cards in reverse, the King and Queen of Cups in reverse, this could be engaging with drugs and alcohol to where we're not paying attention to these other forms of self-care that the King of Cups, that these two cards need, right? Yeah, and not following our intuition or not engaging with creative projects. Yes, those are some more ways, those are some more things you need to pay attention to and watch out for when it comes to self-care when we see the King and Queen of Cups in reverse, right? King of Cups upright, yeah, moving on, and this applies to the Queen of Cups. A lot of these things are interchangeable, but something to remember is with the Queen of Cups, the energy is a lot more internal, right? It's a lot more me. Sometimes it's mothering, where we're feeding, we're nurturing and handling the emotions of, the little babies, the children, our offspring, but for the most part, it's very internal. King of Cups, the King of Cups, he's quite social, but he likes to have deep conversations. Again, some more of that Scorpio energy where he's talking about your dreams, your passions, you know what I mean, your traumas. That, I know it's weird, but some King of Cups, sometimes they end up becoming therapists, or counselors, because they find joy in helping people transmute some of these energies, right? And some of these other things we might not see as a form of self-care, but the King of Cups loves taking care of other people's emotions. And I know this is self-care, but the King of Cups, it's outward emotional energy, right? I'm sorry about that noise. It's outward emotional energy, right? It's going and having conversations with people, talking about things, sharing our visions, sharing our plans, sharing our artwork. I'm so sorry, you know. But yes, right? He loves being in his emotions and sharing his emotions with other people, right? When the King of Cups keeps his emotions inward, and again, not sharing them with other people, not wearing his heart on his sleeve, not following his intuition, or again, much like the Queen of Cups, taking that emotional energy and transmuting it into an art form, he becomes stuck, he becomes stagnant, you know, he's daydreaming a little too much, he's engaging with escapism, you know, in drugs and alcohol, binge watching television shows, maybe playing too many video games, right? Along those lines, right? But that's the self care for the Queen and King of Cups. Moving right along. Up next, we have the King and Queen of Swords. I'm going to start with the King of Swords, right? The swords, again, this is the suit of information, knowledge, intellect, thought, communication, ideas, words, language, right? That's all the swords. So when we talk about the King of Swords and his form of self-care, this is learning. Again, kind of like the King and Queen of Cups, he's also a writer and a journaler, but it's a little different, right? When we see the King of Swords writing, he's writing to teach, you know what I mean? Where the Cups, they're being creative, the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords, they're writing to teach, you know, to share resources, you know, to leave their imprint on the world. They're also trying to learn new things and just to get ideas out of their mind, right? A lot of people with a lot of air energy, they can get lost in their thoughts. Sometimes it can be like mental cloudiness or mental anxiety. Writing these things down so they're not in our minds but on a piece of paper. I have a lot of air energy in my chart, right? Is a form of self-care. So write these things down. Also learning things, right? Again, ideas, words, language. They love learning things to enrich their life, right? King of Swords is a very huge learner. This also goes with the Queen of Swords, right? Being planned and organized, writing in an agenda, planning, scheduling, making sure that they're. What I tell a lot of people when the Queen of Swords comes up, right, is that like her self care is immaculate because she puts it in her agenda at the top of the month. You know what I mean? Her every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday, you know, she's spending 2 to 3 hours just focusing on herself, right? And just having that plan is helpful. She may not always follow the plan, but that having the plan there is a comfort, right? Having that plan there is a comfort because they can fall back on it when somebody else might try to impede on their plans. These two cards can also be very secretive, right? So like if her self-care day is Sunday and so it's like, hey, are you free on Sunday to hang out? She's like, no, I'm busy. She has a spa date scheduled, right? But if she tells some of her friends that she has a spa date scheduled, you know, and it was like, oh, can I come? That would be a lot of fun. And then at that point, it's no longer self-care. It can still be self-care when you share it with other people. But again, some of these other cards are interested in sharing. I don't find that the King and Queen of Swords, they're not trying to share their self-care time. Their self-care time is really, really self-care. Other people like sharing. Some of these other court cards are okay with sharing. I would say that the Wands and the Cups, they're okay with sharing their self-care time. But the Swords, not too much. Not too much. Not too much, right? Something else, I need to talk about learning again for their dreams, goals, and aspirations, right? There's learning things. It's not just like learning things for the sake of learning things like going to school or having a PhD, but this is like, what's a good example? A good example would be learning new organization systems. I love organization systems. I'm going to use myself, right? But there's this organization system. I do not know the name of it because I've been using it for years, but the second I learned it, it's really good. But the second I learned it, I fell in love with it, right? But there's a system of organization where we organize things based on how often you use them. And based on how often you use them is how easily accessible they should be, right? So learning that type of organization system, and again, organizing their desk, their workspace, their backpacks, their purse, their wallets, their desktop. Again, technology, learning about technology. King and Queen of Swords will eat that shit up, right? Excuse my French, but it brings them a lot of excitement to learn new things. When these cards are in reverse, you know, things to watch out for when you're not engaging with your self-care, right? And again, this is Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra energy, right? So Libra energy wants to be very balanced. Again, using that planning, that structure, and communicating to live a balanced lifestyle. Gemini, they're chatty Cathys, chatty Kevins, or chatty Coles. I need a better C word. Yeah, I need a better C name for the guys. But anyway, Geminis, they love learning as well, right? They're huge on learning little bits and pieces of information. I'm a Gemini Sun, Gemini Mercury. I love TikTok, and then like my algorithm just teaches me something every single day. And again, going back to that teaching, I love sharing this information with people. Hey, I learned about this. I learned how to fix your credit score. Oh, here's something that I bet you didn't know to help you get a job, and sharing those pieces of information, right? That's just something that like Geminis do naturally, and it is a form of self-care because they are hardwired to receive information, learn things, and to share it with people, right? Aquarius, they think about humanitarian energy, right? They are very philosophical thinkers, and they think about and write about what is it that they can do to change the world at large. And they're also trendsetters. Some of that mental energy is going to like standing out from the crowd. This, like, a lot of people engage with this, but this doesn't necessarily work for me, right? They think about a lot of things very thoughtfully, and again, that's how you get into some of that journaling and writing with some more Aquarian energy, right? Getting the ideas out of their mind, but into a published format, even if it's just for themselves, right? However, when these cards are in reverse, they're not honoring their self-care time, right? They're not honoring, that space. It's not planned. It's not organized. They're not journaling. They're not writing. They're not teaching. They're not learning new things, right? So those could be some signs. When we see the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords in reverse, they are insecure. They're insecure because they feel like they're lacking something. There's could be a number of things going on here, like there's more information here, but I'm just talking about self-care. When they feel like they're lacking something, or they feel like they don't know something, that frustrates air signs. That frustrates these two signs when they don't know something, when they need a piece of information that is vital to whatever it is that they're trying to do and they don't know it. Sometimes they can become snippy, they can be snappy, but it comes from a place of insecurity where they just need to set the time aside to learn those skills and to get in tune with themselves and that information. Yeah? Okay. Moving right along. I love these two cards we have coming up next. But before I get into these cards, I forgot about this announcement earlier. I am creating a free tarot resource where I will be connecting all of the tarot cards to astrology. You'll learn all of the cards, what planets they are ruled by, what zodiac signs they are ruled by, what decans they are associated with. You know what I mean? What else? And even some of these cards have like subplanetary rulers. The minor arcana has subplanetary rulers. And then something that a lot of people don't know, all of the court cards, yes, we can say that they're associated with the fire signs, which is what I feel in my experience is very true. But they're also associated with other zodiac signs, right? Like the Queen of Wands, she rules the third decan of Pisces and the first two decans of Aries energy, right? So just some information to find out. Make sure you check out the information in the description bar to get that free resource. And let's get back into it. Queen of Wands, King of Wands. These are your explorers. These are people that love socializing, right? So when I was talking about sharing things, they love going out, they love partying, they love traveling, and some people wouldn't find partying as self-care, but fire signs kind of need that fiery, engaging energy to just let off some steam, right? They got to move their body. Sports and physical activities are really good for fire signs as well. Be it dancing, working out, playing a sport, you know what I mean, hiking. The King of Wands loves nature. The Queen of Wands loves nature as well, and then they're different from the Pentacles. We'll get into the Pentacles later, but these two cards love exploring. You know what I mean? They kind of love like expedition. You know what I mean? Not that I'm a friend of Christopher Columbus, but there's a little bit of a Christopher Columbus vibe where I'm going to sail the seven seas. I'm going to sail the seven seas and see new sights that I've never seen before and just enjoy the wonders of the world by traveling and just experiencing new places, new energy, new vibe, right? There's this thirst, there's this thrill for life that the fire signs have, and they need to stay in connection to that, to stay balanced, to stay stable, right? What else is it when it comes to their self-care? I said traveling, experiencing life, partying. These are social creatures. They do need to socialize. They just need to vent. And then like I would also say with these signs, they're very good at expressing anger. They need to express anger. You know what I mean? I think that some of the other signs, sometimes they tend to get trapped. They tend to get trapped in their angry emotions. But I find that a lot of fire signs in these two cards, right? When fire energy comes up, when anger, it's a motivator for them. They get motivated by anger or frustration or some of these heavier, hotter emotions, right? And that actually motivates them to do things, right? So it's like through that process of like venting and complaining and being frustrated, you know what I mean, that a lot of spiritual folks would say you shouldn't sit in. But definitely for fire signs, they need to do some of that because all of our emotions are trying to like figure out something. And when they're sitting in some of those hotter, angrier, fiery emotions, you know, they're talking, they're thinking through things, and then they come up with what? An action plan, right? That helps them keep moving in their visions, right? These cards are also visionaries. And again, the Queen of Wands rules the third decan of Pisces. What? Creative, visionary ideas. These are artists as well, but these are big creative artists, you know what I mean? They have visions that they're fueled by. I would say big dance teams or big musical numbers, you know what I mean? Productions, directors, you know what I mean? Because they have big visions that they need a lot of people and they kind of have to lead, right? These are creative leaders where I would say, and they're artists as well, but I think that the cups, they're just like creative artists where these people are completely satisfied with just, I'm talking about the cups, they're just completely satisfied with painting at home, where like the King and Queen of Wands, they're just in love with like leading a group of people into this big creative visionary idea. Yeah, what's happening when these people are in reverse? These are another group of people that are in reverse, right? King of Wands in reverse, he's very selfish. That could be a sign to, you know, to pull back the reins on some of that selfish energy, right? To not explore too much. When the King of Wands is in reverse, he's being a bit reckless. You know what I mean? He's going hiking without his hiking gear. You know, he forgets his bottle of water at home. He doesn't tell his friends and family where he's going, even though he's going on a hiking trip for 3 days, right? It's very selfish, it's very brave, but it's reckless and it can get dangerous very, very quickly, right? And he kind of like loses respect for other people's boundaries. Queen of Wands in reverse, when the Queen of Wands in reverse, she does not feel confident because she does not feel appreciated, right? Sometimes when I see the Queen of Wands in reverse, a lot of times that's what is coming up is that her feelings have been hurt. Her ego has been hurt, so she becomes snippy. She becomes snappy, not snappity, okay? She becomes snippy and snappy, mean and cruel. This is your mean girl, right? And she begins to put other people down to make herself feel better, but it's coming from a place of her confidence, feeling wounded, and she's not being appreciated, right? And that's when she needs to go back, you know, to, she's also kind of like a pretty girl, right? She's very pretty. Like, she's social, but she's pretty and she's attractive. She loves makeup. She loves fashion. She loves doing herself up, and it's very presentational, right? We think about Leo energy and the sun. Here I am, look at me, I'm shining. The Queen of Wands is the girl that just loves going out to stunt because she's unique. Unique, okay? Shout out to Beyonce, right? But when she's not doing those things, when she's not in tune with herself, when she doesn't feel pretty, when she's not receiving compliments, when she's not sharing that energy with other people, you know what I mean? She needs to tap into, you know, again, that exploration, that social energy, that doing herself up just for herself and not for anybody else. Yeah, last but not least, we have the King and Queen of Pentacles. These are some of my favorite self-care people because these are the original material girls and material boys, right? Let's start off with the Queen of Pentacles. She knows what she deserves, right? Material girl. She will buy herself the nicest Chanel bag. She will take herself to the nicest restaurant. She will have a weekend where she buys a nice hotel and goes to the nicest spa available because she knows that she deserves these things, right? And like these aren't people that frivolously spend their money, right? They're very wise in their monetary investments. And they'll do that once a month once they know they have the funds in place to do that, right? And this is like it's kind of like a continuous cycle, right? And remember I said that she does these things for herself. This is a self-care video, but when she buys herself the nicest Chanel bag, right? What that does is it sends a message to the people around her that, oh, she values herself so much that they have to then come and step to her with that same energy, right? This is why I love these two cards. They know what they deserve and they treat themselves that way first so that everybody else will fall in line and treat them the way that they see them treating themselves. What else? This is very much earth energy, pentacles. These are quality goods, high quality things, buying beautiful things. They're very like quality over quantity. Yes. And like because it's earth energy, these are people who are also connected to the nature, love hiking, being in gardens, going to beaches, so on and so forth. But again, like where the fire signs I was saying, where they're just loving life, they're going into exposition, they're trying to live, laugh, love, see everything, have all the experiences. These, the King and the Queen of Pentacles, they get to know their land a little more intimately, right? Like a King of Pentacles, he's your forest ranger. He's the steward of the land. He's your farmer. You know, the Queen of Pentacles is your gardener. You know, she really pays attention to what's going on with the birds and the bees, the earth and the trees, because she is connected to the land that she is bonding with and receives energy from that, right? Water signs also vibe with that energy. Yes, but these are people are very connected to the land in a very like intimate way, right? Where they're taking care of it, they're nurturing it, and the land will nurture them in return. Yes. What else? I think that's about it. Like these people are very like straightforward. King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles, when he's living in that masculine energy, he's a gift giver. Yeah, he's a protector and a provider. And he feels stable in himself when he's able to do that for other people. Yeah, but again, steward of the land and also will buy himself, you know, a really nice car, a really nice motorcycle. He'll buy himself a nice suit. You know, that is his self-care. That are their forms of self-care, right? When we flip these cards in reverse, things to watch out for when they're actually ignoring their self-care is when, you know, when they become frivolous spenders, right? When they begin to buy things to showboat or to be flashy, to make people, you know, to not only feel good about themselves, they try to buy themselves happiness, right? It becomes quantity over quality and they start trying to buy themselves happiness, but they also try to showboat so that other people can see that they have all this money, right? These are people that take care of their finances. Don't think I need to tell you that when it comes to the Pentacles, but if you don't know, now you know. But yes, they will spend money in frivolous ways because something else is hurting within them and their sense of self-value has been diminished in some way. Yeah, also these are your experts and your masters. Yeah, when it comes to like a career path, these energies come up in career readings very often. When they're in reverse, they're not being respected, but more often they are not respecting themselves. Right? In some ways, they may not be challenging themselves. I go into this, I'm going to talk about this. Challenging yourself is a form of self care, believe it or not. But they may not be challenging themselves and taking on leadership roles or positions or sitting down and doing the work that they need to be and getting organized. Right? Yeah, and just like not buying themselves that things, you know, it can go either way. Like they can start spending a bunch of money or they can become very cheap. The divine does not like cheap energy, and when the Queen and King of Pentacles are cheap, you know what I mean? They won't spend any money at all, and then they're like cutting corners everywhere, and they're kind of like it's like ghetto. It's kind of like they put themselves in the trenches when they have the money, when they have the resources, when they can do the work to make it happen, but they're just not doing that work. Yeah. But that's all for this first video. This took quite some time. I didn't think it was gonna take so long. So this is definitely gonna be like a 3 or 4 part video because there are tons of other cards that I need to go through. But if you found value out of this video, please let me know what resonated in the comment section. Please let me know, what court card do you resonate the most? Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and also do not forget to run over to momagics.com and check out the description box to find that free tarot resource where I'll give you a quick astrological breakdown of all the cards in the tarot. Yeah, but that's all I have for you. Have a good day, and until next time, this is XO Meaux. Bye.